It was the end of my 7th grade year in school, and I was with my girl best friend, and my best friend initials is LJ. We was in the gym, and this girl caught my eye. Today, one of our teachers, that nigga disappeared, and apparently for 8th grade, one of their teachers disappeared too. So we was in the gym for 2 hours with that girl, and since LJ and that girl is best friends, she come over to talk to LJ. While they was talking to each other, she was doing this voice. I can't put the voice into words, but it was a very annoying voice. And then she walked away. She was thick. I was like, I like what I see. Now we have 2024 summer. This was the summer that my balls dropped, and this was also the summer I started working out. We had went to Fudd Puckers. I got to eat an alligator. I got to touch an alligator. And my uncle stayed in Orlando, so we had went to Orlando, Florida, paid him a visit. I don't remember why exactly, but my uncle said if you wear the right cologne, you can get a girl, right? While all this great stuff was going on this summer, I was texting LJ about that girl, talking about how pretty she is and how much I like her. I didn't even know her. And then we came back to school. I have a day one homie. His name is Amari. Me and Amari ride the same bus. When he found out that I liked that girl for a whole week on the bus ride from school going back to the house, Amari used to tell me that girl crazy, she weird, don't go with her. My D1 homie told me for a whole week, every single evening, don't go with that girl. The bitch crazy. And my dumb ass didn't listen to him. I was like, she can't be that bad. You over exaggerate. It was on a Wednesday, I think. We was having that shitty ass homecoming king and queen stuff. So we get to the gym, and then the whole school came up in there. So I was looking around, looking at all the people that came, right? I see this girl staring at me. Like, this girl was staring at me. So I turn my head, talk to my friends. I check again, and she's still staring at me. Her head ain't moved. No, nothing. She is still staring at me. So the whole shitty ass homecoming king and queen shit, all that was over with. But I look across to see this girl still looking at me. This girl was still staring at me. May I add, this king and queen stuff was like an hour 20, hour 30. And she was still staring at me. Instead of getting up and leaving, she was still staring at me. Then the next day, one of our teachers fucking disappeared. And then 9th grade, one of their teachers was sick and fell out or something. I don't know. All I knew was, is 9th grade and 8th grade was going to be in PE for 2 hours that day. I was getting cold feet because I remembered she was doing that annoying ass anime voice, and my D1 homie said she crazy, and LJ is meant to be that girl best friend, but she don't want nothing to do with her. I was like, do I even like this girl anymore? As I was thinking that, my fat little buddy and LJ said, turn around. So I turned my head and look up, and this girl is standing behind me. You know that thing that girls do when they twist in place and they got their arms behind their back? She was doing it. Also, over the summer, puberty hit this girl. Her titties was so big. All the bad thoughts I had about that girl, gone. She had sat down beside me. We was touching thighs. She said, hey. I said, hey. May I add, all my blood was going somewhere else. She said, LJ said you like me. I said, uh-huh. She kept on talking to me. I said, uh-huh. And then Amari had came to the bleachers to drink some of his Gatorade. Amari was so disappointed, bro. He shook his head and said, nah, nigga, nah. I'm not making this up, y'all. Got to believe me when I say this. That evening, our principal came on the intercom and said, I'm gonna say this the simplest way possible. So our schedule got changed around so that 8th grade and 9th grade go to PE together every single day. That's how life was for a good month. We would come in the gym every day. She would lay on me. We would be touching each other. But one day I went home. I reflected on myself. I was like, is this it? Is this worth my day one homie being disappointed in me? And I really thought about it. All the things Amari said about that girl, And LJ is meant to be that girl best friend, and even she don't like her. She don't want nothing to do with her. And then Halloween day came. So my classroom was 2 rooms down from the front lobby. Every room on the front of the school had 2 big windows. So every morning there was a white navigator that would pull up and she would get out of it. And then this morning we was in class existing. We didn't have no breakfast cause who wants to eat that? And then LJ said, Spencer, look. I turned my head. She had these tight pants on, a furry tail, the furry ears, some painting on whiskers. My heart had dropped to my balls and the butterflies in my stomach was doing the moonwalk. Her homeroom class is past mine. She gotta walk down the hallway, go past my homeroom class, and some mornings she come into our class to talk to our teacher or to talk to LJ. And then on the way out or on the way in, she would touch me. Right beside our door, we had this closet. I told LJ, when she come in the classroom, say Rory. I go in the closet, they say Rory. I start breathing and everything. They had came to the door and said, she looking for you. When I had stopped holding my breath, I was breathing in that wood smell. Also, our teacher had Lysol, Fabuloso, Clorox, and all that stuff. I almost fell out for real. And then they had opened the door and said she's gone. Nigga, I was almost gone. I almost died. We got done with lunch, and when we leave the cafeteria, furry girl class be coming to the cafeteria. I was the last person in there because we had nachos. I walk out, this girl coming down the hallway. My fight or flight came on. I started running. I started hauling ass. I became Usain Bolt. Nah, fuck Usain Bolt. I became Roy the racing car nigga. Our next class was the sewing class. So our sewing class is on the opposite side of the school that the cafeteria is on. So I ran the whole distance of the school. It's a flight of stairs that you go down, and then it's a hallway, and then you walk into our sewing class. Right, so I'm hauling ass down the hallway, and then I jump off the stairs. I was flying. Instead of speed walking down the stairs, my brain went, what if I jump up into the air? I was in the air for a good 3 seconds. I had landed on both my ankles.
Oh, my neck, my back, my neck and my back. Oh.
So we was coming back from our career class. I was using every fiber of my being not to limp, and I seen furry girl and her friends coming down to the gym. They supposed to be going across the street. I actually had to pee, and she was closer to the bathroom than I was. So with my broken ankles, I started hauling ass to the bathroom. When I had went in the bathroom, I took a nice long pee too. I walk out in the hallway. I see furry girl and her friends. Nobody else was in the hallway, thank the Lord. And then this girl started breathing heavily into my ear. She started moaning in my ear, and then she started growling. And she said, good boy. And then she walked away. I almost cried, bro. I almost cried. I got hold. I busted both of my ankles trying to get away from this girl. I almost died from fumes in a closet, and I got hold. So I sadly limped down the hallway to our next class, because our next class was math class. And our principal was going to the teacher lounge. My principal said that our math teacher left because he had a doctor appointment. Our math teacher been at school all day, and once it's time for us to go to his class, he gone. And then my principal said the worst thing possible. My class is in the gym. So I very sadly did the limp of shame. I limped down to the gym. When I sat down and I seen that girl walking down the bleachers to me, I didn't care, because I was mentally fucked up because of what she just did to me. She had sat down and started talking about some bullshit. I heard her talking about me and her doing furry role play. I was shocked. Like, how do you talk about this in a public place? When it was time to go, I had looked at LJ. I said, if I ever like that girl again, if I ever ever say something positive about that girl again, beat my ass. Get the whole friend group and beat my ass. In conclusion, Drake is ass. This nigga never was good and he done got worse and y'all still dick riding him. Go listen to Lil Nas X. Actually, who's worse? Lil Nas X or Drake? I mean, both them gay. Subscribe before I eat your mama ass.